What do you say we head over? I got a little game for us to play before we jump off tonight. A little new game called Missouri Man.
Missouri Man.
Another hit maker.
Missouri Man.
So
Missouri
a new
Man.
segment here for our show, Greg, called
Missouri Man.
Missouri Man, right?
Missouri Man. Yep. So what we're gonna do here is with Missouri Man is I'm gonna read you stories from Missouri, news stories, internet stories, things that made the news. Typically, it start with Missouri Man. You've heard the game like Florida Man, but I pulled the article, but we're gonna go over the title and just see if we can piece this together.
And just to let everybody know, I have no idea what we're doing here. So on the production side of our show for Iller and Filthier, Greg and I have decided that it might be kind of hard every single week grinding out, producing the show and coming up with ideas and stuff. So we're kind of alternating, I think, is what we came up with, at least for the first few months, to where Greg comes up with a segment for our show, and then the following week I'd come up with a segment, and usually the other person doesn't have to do too much work for it, and we're just kind of throwing it on them to see their actual response. So I'm kind of curious to see what this is all about.
Yeah, this is so again, I'm gonna show Brian a headline, and we're just gonna talk about it. We're gonna try where'd they get there. So US News posts Missouri man arrested in SUV with High license plate. So the reason I brought this up, so 420 was last weekend, and I don't think Brian and I have ever, we haven't had the cannabis discussion very much. It's legal in many states, including yours. My dumb state won't legally, and I just don't think I know where you stand on that. And I just thought this was a fun little blurb.
Yeah, I haven't seen this headline, and it doesn't surprise me. The funny thing, so what, 420, that was the
Saturday,
Saturday, which was also record store day for me.
Oh yeah, yep. Yes, it was. I don't think they're always tidy. It's always like a Saturday in April, right, or something.
Kind of like with Easter or something, right? Like Jesus doesn't necessarily come up the same exact day. It's always like I'm always like, why can't you just pin it down to a date?
Yeah, it should be 420.
Well, so tying in a side story on the weed stuff here on your headline. So I went into my record store day, and as I was checking out, the guy was like, "You look like you smoke weed." And I just looked at him, and I'm not a big weed partaker. I don't care, right?
Okay. Yep.
And I'm not one that's like, you've got to make it illegal and throw all these people into jail and all this stuff.
Right.
Whatever anybody wants to do, I don't care. But I thought it was kind of funny, and I was like, I look like I smoke weed, and I was like, I'm assuming that was probably a compliment from him,
right?
Because he was checking me out, and I was buying like 4 albums, and he goes, "We had a guy come in and drop off a bag, and feel free to go get some on your way out." And I'm like, just thinking to myself, am I being set up?
Right.
Like, is this a narcotic sting? Because I don't know if you can do that retail wise. This is a legitimate record store.
No,
and I was like, I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
I want to have my wherewithal to listen to my albums later on. And he was like, "Oh, you can, your albums will sound so much better." I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay."
Yeah. You'll be like, if you do that, you'll find yourself listening. You'll be like, "Is that a harp in the closet in the background?" Like you'll hear it gets deeper. But anyway, I thought this was funny. But again, why, like, the people that advertise it, I guess now that it's becoming more legalized, it just makes me laugh. And who knows, maybe they work for a company that does something with like height or something, and it has nothing to do with pot.
Short people. Maybe that's why he was arrested.
Yeah, could be.
I'm assuming it's, and again, we're just going off of the title, right? The headline.
Yeah.
I've got to imagine, but I wouldn't put it past Missouri, because Missouri is in the news for some stupid shit in the last few years. I got to imagine that there was something else that this person was either being pulled over for, and it just so happened that this was a big signal of what was going on.
They left this in the small print. It says, with 5 tons of guns or something.
Oh.
All right, let's see. So we'll move on to the next one here. Let's see here.
Don't you like the functionality? We use StreamYard. It's a program that we pay for that gives us a little bit of polish for the show, and it gives us some toys to play with within the show to make it a little fancier. It's kind of fun, a little more fun doing it this way.
Look at this St. Louis Dispatch, y'all.
St. Louis Post-Dispatch, which is the local newspaper here in St. Louis, who I've done quite a bit of photography work for.
So maybe
over the last 10, 15 years or so. I'm not hired by them, but I'm paid as a
nice.
When we do travel stories and stuff. Freelance. There you go.
Nice.
Freelancer.
So St. Louis paper, St. Louis job seeker mailed feces to companies that failed to hire him.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right.
I think I've worked with people that have said they've done this or will do this.
Yeah.
We've all worked with weirdos.
Oh yeah.
That you're just like, if something goes down, I know it's this person here. Like, I used to work with somebody, and I am not making light of what I'm going to say next, but and I don't think that he would ever listen to this or whatever, but it's one of those things to where somebody is unstable enough that if somebody were to come in and start doing things, you know what I'm saying? I really don't want to say it.
Yeah.
I was like, he's the person to do it.
Yeah.
We all work with somebody that is just a little off.
Yeah. I think we all, in any job we've ever had, I think all of us know somebody that would do this.
Yeah.
Like, I've also heard people be like, hey, if I won, $10 billion lotto or something, I'd go shit on my boss's desk. Like, just to be funny,
And this was
I love this one because I love this one. Just makes me laugh.
And the fact that it's somebody, I mean, aside from the fact that it's somebody unstable that would just mail feces, but to do it to companies that don't even hire. So you don't have this long-standing relationship to where you get pissed off, like almost like an actual relationship, right?
Yeah.
That you're in for a long time, and you just hate the girlfriend or your ex-wife or whatever. And you've built up all this animosity and hatred towards somebody. These are people you really don't have a relationship with.
Right.
That cut it off right at the beginning, but you're so messed up in the head that you're gonna mail this off.
Yeah,
I to mail this off because it has to be a box, right?
I would guess. That's a great question. These are the answers we don't have, Brian. This is why we're doing this. We need to know. The more I stare at this one, the more I kind of feel bad. This person's clear. I mean, to do that, I think you have to be not all there. I mean, this is not like being facetious. This is like, I'm mailing my poop. Like,
and I would say 80-90% of us, when we read this headline, you think of somebody that you're either currently working with. Like it pops in your head.
Yeah. Oh, I know somebody right now. Yeah. Not at my current job, but my last job. I definitely know somebody who would do this.
I mean, I work for myself now.
Yeah.
I see this, and that person pops in my head of the last job I was at.
Yeah.
Now he wouldn't be the one to mail the feces. He'd be doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
But at that same job, there was, I'm sure there was probably a couple people, and I know the department they worked in, that probably would do something like this.
And this, I mean, again, this is trying to find a job can be awful. It's probably one of the worst things to do. So to that part of it, this is the people that didn't hire, not place he quit, but I can see both. That's so funny. That one makes me laugh. Let's see. I want to show this next one because it was on the news most recently, and I love the headline because it cracks. I mean, it's disturbing, but at the same time, it's just that, again, as a headline, it's
perfect
funny.
For Iller and Filthier.
Yeah. So this was recent. like a week or so, a naked teacher found in an SUV crashed by teen driver fleeing the sheriff. So what is that when you first see that? What do you think there?
Man. Well, first in my head, and maybe it's because I just remember more female teachers that are in the news for getting with these students or whatever. So I'm assuming when I visualize this, naked teacher found in an SUV crashed by teen driver, because I think it would be a male teen driver,
because they would crash more. I mean, they have more.
Yeah, boys are more expensive to insure, right?
Yeah. So that's what it is. But to be fair, if you got naked teachers distracting you, I mean, that's not his fault.
That's true. Well, and then was he? And again, I'm assuming it's a male teen driver, and then it's a female teacher. And was this one of those things to where they're driving and she's distracting him, and then he crashes? What? Crashed by teen driver fleeing the sheriff. So they were chasing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were just driving and he was.
Yeah. I think they were discovered and then probably
tried to take off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's then Miss Jones naked in the back. But how funny would this be? Remember back in the day, I don't know at your school, but I think when I turned 16, the teachers and driver's ed, or the driver's ed teachers, were teachers. So what if this was a driver's ed scenario? She's like, you're doing such a good job. I'm going to take my shirt off.
So I'm thinking, as I read this headline here, I'm what's it when you profile? I'm profiling, because I'm actually pretty good at profiling.
Yeah, we're good with that.
I'm pretty sure this is a male student, female teacher, and they got caught because they were parked doing something. Yeah. Why would you? I'm kind of curious why the high-speed chase by the sheriff then. I guess we won't know that this is the game, right? Because we're just doing the headline on it.
But I think you're right. I think it was fleeing. They got caught and were fleeing the scene of like, oh my God, we got caught. You know what I mean? Like and he crashed.
Man,
does that make sense? And I save this last one.
Well, if there's a guy watching this now or later, I don't want to say now because I think it's only like Jeff watching us, and I don't want to be like, oh, Jeff's trying to find out what the teacher looked like. But I think that that's going to be the next thing when this goes out, that people are going to look up that headline to find out what the teacher looked like. Yeah,
I don't think it's good. So this one hits me for a reason. I like this one. We're going to end with this one. So this actually happened. I couldn't find the actual good clipping of it. But this happened at the Margaritaville, I believe, in Camdenton, down in Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah. Which I've been to.
Yeah, I've been to Margaritaville there. It's nice. Good spot. We took the family there. So when we stayed there, I did see they have big conference rooms. So there's a lot of conference space there. And I have been to tons of conferences in my career. And a lot of times they're awful. You're sitting there for hours every day and you're bored and you're drinking coffee and caffeine, everything you can, and be like, oh my God, I got to sit here for 6 hours. You were out the night before drinking. I mean, they're down at the Ozarks, all these. And I'm just picturing being in there, kind of staring at my phone, just like, when's this over? Woman reportedly bursts into the room completely naked and bleeding of an unspecified wound. She then reportedly began shouting expletives and trash talking her husband, who was attending the conference. Can you imagine?
I can, and that it sounds exactly like what you would think of that would happen at Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, yep, exactly. A fun read is Lake. I think it's called Lake Expo. A lot of good stories on there. That's where this was.
I still feel like this is kind of a meth thing.
Yeah, like why was she bleeding? Like how'd that happen? She's naked. Did she and what was she shouting at her husband?
Right.
Like that's what I want to know. And he's in the
It's
conference.
Not enough that it's just shouting expletives, but talking trash.
Yeah. And even just part of the story, just if she kicked the door open and was like, Greg, you piece of shit, like, you didn't come home last night, like, just that is a good story. But be like, no, it gets better. She was naked.
I picture in my head the character that of this woman who's yelling. Do you remember watching Ozark on Netflix?
Oh yeah, love.
Who's the blonde?
Show.
The
Ruthie.
Yeah, I
I
picture
don't know
her
shit
yelling.
About fuck. Yeah, that's funny. You're gonna have to fucking kill me. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just she. That would be great. I just want it to be that. I just want her to kick the door open and say
this. Yeah,
of
all the ones that you've shown, this is one that I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down in that area.
Yep, it's very Lake of the Ozarks. They call that Saturday night in July. But man, just being at a conference though, I'm just telling you, like, how fun would that have been if somebody did that?
Oh, it would be great.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy's buddy's like, "Hey man, are you leaving? Because can I have your free drink coupon?"
Right.
Oh, and sorry about your wife, man.
Yeah, I would love to know the background of this story here too. I think that would be fun to find out.
It's so I think that calls for a trip for maybe me and you this summer. Maybe we do like we hang out at the Ozarks for a weekend and just do some like, undercover kind of work, really kind of dig in, like do some like news reporting.
I think that would obviously, and then doing a bunch of shows and finding a bunch of interviews. Because can you imagine if and when that does happen, when we go down there, we find this woman and we get her on the show.
Right.
Because I think by the time that we actually get to that point to where we're down there together, we would have had some practice doing interviews with people. And those are the kind that I actually would like to do.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah. Get her. She should be on here. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to do that when I get off of tonight. One, because I have nothing else to do. I'm home alone. I'm going to look up a couple of these. I'm going to look up a couple of these headlines, and then I want to see what the teacher looks like.
And you got to listen to some records too, man. I'm proud of you for that.
I'm doing that too.
That was fun, man. This was good, but yeah, we definitely I got to come down to the STL and hang out. But yeah, we should go to the Ozarks for sure.
This was a blast. Greg, you did a good job on the music, putting all that stuff together. You produced a very good show. And I think we are signing off. If you guys haven't gone to any of our social media pages, Iller and Filthier, we are everywhere now. I know it's only our second official episode, but we've been putting out content almost daily. TikTok's gonna get banned here fairly soon, so if you don't follow us there, that's fine.
MySpace,
you can be part of our top 5. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Threads,
RedTube.
And then any of the podcast platforms. So what we do with these live shows is we clean them up and then we put it out on Iller and Filthier the day after. So tomorrow, look forward to the edited version of this. And we had a great time. So thanks for checking us out, and we will see ya. See ya, Greg.
Peace.